Nobody thought this week in hip-hop and sports drama could get any messier. But leave it to Claressa Shields and Shakari Richardson to turn it into absolute chaos. It all started when Claressa, in what looked like a casual Instagram live, accidentally dropped details about Papoose's real financial situation. Numbers, assets, debts, the kind of stuff that was never supposed to see daylight. Within minutes, the clip went viral and fans were dissecting every word like it was a government leak. But just as Pap's camp scrambled to do damage control, the plot twisted hard because track star Shakari Richardson suddenly found herself booked and in custody over a shocking, still murky incident. Two separate scandals. One explosive timeline, and now the internet's convinced they're connected. Buckle up, because what's coming next ties hip-hop loyalty and sports royalty into one wild, jaw-dropping mess. It started like every other midweek Instagram live from Claressa Shields casual. Unscripted, full of laughs, and sprinkled with those little moments where she claps back at trolls. She was in her kitchen, hair tied up, sipping from a mug, answering fan questions about her next fight. Nothing unusual. Until someone in the comments typed a question that shifted the entire energy. Would you ever collab with Papoose? Claressa smirked, shook her head, and said, "Man, Pap got bigger problems than collabs right now. And y'all wouldn't believe it if I told you." At first, people thought she was just throwing shade. But then she leaned closer to the camera, lowered her voice like she was telling a secret, and dropped the sentence that made jaws hit the floor. Let's just say his bank account ain't looking like his bars. He's out here moving money, trying to keep up appearances, but it's already too late. The chat exploded. Emojis, question marks, wait, what? Comments. The kind of flood that makes even someone like Claressa pause. But instead of walking it back, she doubled down. Listen, I've seen the numbers. I know what's going on. Some people living like kings on the gram, but behind the scenes, they're playing catch up with the IRS. That's all I'm saying. Clip saved, clip posted, clip viral within 30 minutes. Multiple hip-hop blogs had reposted the moment with captions like Claressa exposes Papoose's money issues on IG Live and from bars to broke. Claressa Shields drops bombshell on Pap's finances. Reactions were split down the middle. Pap's defenders called Claressa messy for speaking on something so personal. Others said if she was bold enough to say it, it must have some truth behind it. Either way, the narrative was out in the open now, and the internet was treating it like the opening bell of a heavyweight bout. By noon, Twitter detectives were already pulling up old interviews where Pap bragged about investments, property, flips, and generational wealth. Now, with Claressa's words echoing through the culture, every one of those clips was being side-eyed. Threads popped up claiming his jewelry was rented, his cars leased, and his TV appearances more about keeping his name relevant than actual cash flow. Then, an insider claiming to be a former accountant for a hip-hop management firm posted a long cryptic message in a private Facebook group that somehow got screenshot and leaked. The post alleged that Papoose had been hit with a 7-figure tax bill in late 2023, had liquidated several assets quietly, and was living leaner than his social media suggested. No hard proof was shown, but the damage was done. Papoose still hadn't addressed any of it. But his silence was starting to work against him. Fans expected at least a lyric-laced denial, but nothing came. Instead, his Instagram activity showed. Him liking posts about snakes in the grass and real ones staying quiet while the fakes talk. Just as the drama was peaking, another unexpected twist hit, and it had nothing to do with Pap's finances. Shakari Richardson, the Olympic sprinter known for her unapologetic attitude and electric performances, had been booked. The news broke through TMZ first. Sha'Carri Richardson detained following incident at Atlanta lounge. Details were scarce at first, just that she'd been taken into custody after what was described as a heated altercation in the VIP section of a high-end nightclub. Social media went from Paps broke to what did Sha'Carri do in seconds. But then things got even messier when a no-deleted tweet from a gossip blogger suggested that Claressa and Sha'Carri had been spotted together earlier that night, before the arrest. This tiny connection was enough for conspiracy theories to explode. Was Sha'Carri's incident somehow tied to Claressa's pap leak? Were they both at the same spot where something went down? And if so, what could possibly connect a boxing champ, a track star, and a veteran rapper's money troubles? By late afternoon, grainy cell phone footage emerged from inside the Atlanta lounge. It showed Sha'Carri in a glittering silver dress, arguing with a man in a black hoodie. Security stepped in quickly, but the crowd's reaction, gasps, phones up, people whispering, "That's her," confirmed it was the sprinter in the background of one clip. Eagle-eyed fans swore they saw Claressa talking to someone in a booth, holding her phone like she was showing them something. Of course, this could have been anything, but in the current climate, it was all the fuel the internet needed to tie the two scandals together. Overnight, the headlines shifted from two separate incidents to a merged storyline. Claressa. Shield stirs drama about Papoose, Shakari Richardson booked hours later. Coincidence? And in the middle of all this, Pap's name kept trending. Whether or not the leak about his finances was true, it had become part of a bigger, wilder narrative involving high-profile sports figures and possibly some underground beefs nobody saw coming. The final blow of the night came when Claressa went live again, this time for only 5 minutes to say, "Y'all think I'd just be talking? Wait till you see what's next." Then she ended the stream. No context, no clarification, just that by the next morning, fans were buzzing with theory. Like with one question, what next was Claressa talking about? Was she hinting at more receipts on Papoose? Was she about to speak on Sha'Carri's arrest? Or was there an even deeper connection none of us had pieced together yet? By the time the sun came up the next day, the two separate scandals had officially merged into one chaotic wildfire. Pap's alleged financial troubles were still all over the blogs, but now they were tangled in with Shakari Richardson's late-night booking and Claressa. Shields was at the center of both storms. It started with a post from one of those you-know-they-got-real-sources Twitter accounts. At INDUSTRYLEAKZ that claimed they had proof the three were connected. Through a single night, a single location, and a single deal gone sideways. The tweet read, "Y'all gonna trip when you find out. Koos's money problem is tied to the same people Sha'Carri was arguing with before her arrest, and Claressa been knowing." That was enough to send the internet spiraling into amateur detective mode. Screenshots of Sha'Carri at the Atlanta lounge started circulating alongside Pap's old business photos. Trying to match background faces, people swore they saw the same man, a tall, bearded figure in a designer jacket in both worlds. Then came the first real piece of evidence. A short, blurry video from outside the lounge surfaced showing Sha'Carri arriving around 10:45 p.m. and just 2 minutes later a black Escalade pulling up with Claressa stepping out. Fans pieced together a timeline. They were definitely at the same place, possibly even meeting each other. By noon, a bigger bombshell dropped. An exclusive from an Atlanta-based gossip podcast claimed that Claressa had been negotiating a private sponsorship deal for a major fight, and the sponsor's rep was connected to the same investment group Papoose had allegedly borrowed money from last year. According to the podcast, Pap had defaulted on part of the repayment, creating bad blood. And guess who else had recently been in talks with that group? Shakari Richardson. Now the picture was getting clearer and way messier. The podcast alleged that the lounge that night was actually hosting a private networking event for athletes and investors. Claressa was there for her deal. Sha'Carri was there to finalize a sponsorship renewal. And some of the money men in the room were the same people allegedly pressing Pap for repayment. An insider caller to the podcast claimed Sha'Carri's arrest came after an argument with one of those investors. A heated exchange that escalated when someone made a slick comment about hanging with broke rappers. Whether it was aimed at her or Claressa, nobody knew. but that one line set the whole thing off. Meanwhile, Claressa's IG live from the night before, the one where she hinted Pap's money situation was already too late, was now being viewed under a whole new light. Was she really accidentally spilling tea? Or was it a warning shot to the people Pap owed? By the afternoon, the narrative had shifted again. Claressa wasn't just gossiping, she was strategically leaking information. Bloggers started speculating that she might have been using the Pap reveal as a power play in her negotiations, signaling to the investors that she wasn't afraid to put someone on blast. But that's when the biggest twist yet hit. At Industry, Lee KZ posted 3 grainy images, allegedly from a security camera in a VIP lounge area, showing Claressa sitting at a table with both Sha'Carri and Papoo. If the timestamp on the corner was to be believed, this was from the same night, just hours before Sha'Carri's arrest. The images weren't crystal clear, but the body language was telling. Claressa leaning forward, Pap looking tense with his arms crossed, Sha'Carri with her phone in hand like she was showing something on the screen. In the second image, Pap appeared to be gesturing in frustration, while Claressa looked dead serious. The post blew up instantly. If Pap was really there that night, it meant the theory about him being totally blindsided by Claressa's leak was out the window. It also meant this wasn't just some random coincidence, they were all in the same room. For reasons still unknown, that evening, a voice note began circulating in group chats and Discord servers. Supposedly recorded from that meeting, the muffled audio caught Claressa's voice saying, "If you can't make it right by next week, they're pulling out. And if they pull out, that's on you." The they was never clarified, but everyone assumed it meant the investors. If this was true, then Pap's money situation wasn't just about bad spending or IRS trouble, it was about a major financial obligation tied to deals that overlapped with big-name athletes. And with Sha'Carri in the middle of a heated altercation just hours later, it was starting to look like the fallout from that meeting was immediate. Fans were now eating this up like a Netflix crime series. TikTok edits popped up, piecing together the VIP meeting timeline with dramatic music. YouTube commentators were uploading 40-minute breakdowns titled "The Pap-Claressa Conspiracy Explained." But not everyone was convinced the leaks were organic. Some claimed at INDUSTRYLEAKZ was being fed staged images to control the narrative. Others suspected Pap himself was letting certain things get out to frame himself as the victim of a bigger power game. The pressure was building fast. Pap's name was trending for the second day straight. But now, instead of sympathy, the comments were demanding answers. Were you in that lounge with them or not? If you ain't broke, drop the receipts. Claressa didn't make this up. Too many pieces match. By the time night fell, the situation had reached peak volatility. Claressa was posting cryptic quotes about handling business like a champ, while Sha'Carri's team released a vague statement about her working with legal counsel. Pap still hadn't spoken, but that silence was now deafening. And then, as if the day hadn't already been wild enough, a private DM leaked from a verified account belonging to a retired boxing promoter. The message, sent to a gossip page, read, "Next leak won't be about money. It's about who Pap was sitting next to when that meeting ended. And trust me, that's the one that'll break him." The DM warning had been floating around for less than 2 hours before the internet collectively lost its mind. Everyone wanted to know if the next leak wasn't about Pap's money, then what was it? And more importantly, who was this mysterious person he was allegedly sitting next to when the meeting ended? That answer came at 11:07 a.m. the next day at Industry Lee KZ. Now with hundreds of thousands of new followers, posted a still image taken from what looked like a hotel security camera. The angle was slightly tilted, but clear enough to recognize the 2 figures walking down a carpeted hallway. One was Papoose, wearing the same hoodie from the VIP meeting images. The other was not Claressa Shields, Shakari Richardson. or anyone fans had connected to the story so far, it was Remy Ma. The caption was short, but devastating. When business gets personal. The comments section exploded instantly. What was Remy doing at the same location as the supposed investor meeting? Why hadn't she been mentioned at all until now? And if Pap's money issues were tied to this group, did that mean Remy was involved in those dealings too? Things got messier when a follow-up video dropped just 20 minutes later. This one, recorded from inside the hotel lobby, showed Pap and Remy sitting together on a couch, deep in conversation. Pap looked tense, gesturing with his hands while Remy occasionally glanced toward the elevators as if waiting for someone. At one point, she leaned in and whispered something that made Pap lean back. Rubbing his temples, no audio, no context, but it was enough to set off a wave of speculation. Some fans immediately jumped to the conclusion that Remy was there to help Pap negotiate with the investors. Others thought she might have been there representing her own interests, separate from Pap's, and that whatever she whispered had changed the tone of their entire conversation. Then, at exactly noon, at INDUSTRYLEAKZ, dropped what they called the final piece, a 45-second audio clip, allegedly from someone in the hotel bar who overheard Pap and Remy's conversation. The quality was grainy, but certain phrases were chillingly clear. Pap's voice, "I don't cover it, they're coming for everything." Remy's voice, "Then let them. You think they'll touch me? They can't." The internet froze. This was no longer just about Claressa exposing Pap's money troubles or Sha'Carri's arrest. This was about power, alliances, and possibly a dangerous game being played behind the scenes immediately. New theories began to spiral. Theory 1. Remy was already working with the investors, which is why she wasn't worried about their threats. Theory 2. Pap and Remy weren't on the same side anymore. This meeting was a confrontation, not a collaboration. Theory 3. The "they can't touch me" comment meant Remy had leverage that could blow the investors and everyone connected to them out of the water. Meanwhile, Claressa Shields was watching it all unfold. She posted an Instagram story of herself shadowboxing in the gym with the caption, "Funny how the truth always comes out." No names, no tags, but nobody missed the reference. Shakari's camp, on the other hand, went silent. No new statements, no updates on her booking, nothing. That silence was making people wonder if she had been advised to stay quiet because the case and its connections to the investors was much bigger than a simple altercation at a lounge. By evening, things escalated even further. A small independent sports blog dropped a bombshell article claiming they had email correspondence between an unnamed athlete's management team and the investor group in question. The emails allegedly discussed redirecting promotional funds to cover outstanding obligations, and one of the CCD addresses matched a business email known to belong to Papoose. If the emails were legit, it meant Pap wasn't just having private money troubles. Financial strain was spilling into public business deals that affected other high-profile names. And with Claressa and Sha'Carri in the mix, that meant this drama was touching to major sports industries at once. That night, Remy Ma finally made her move. She posted a black and white selfie on Instagram with no caption, except for a location. Tag, the Bronx. It was her first direct acknowledgement of the situation, and it set the comment section on fire. Some saw it as a signal that she was coming home to set the record straight. Others read it as a territorial flex, a reminder that she wasn't to be messed with no matter what was being said online. And then, just when everyone thought the day's drama was over, at INDUSTRYLEAK, Z scheduled a live stream for midnight with the title "The Real Reason Sha'Carri Was Booked," featuring new footage. When the stream went live, over 400,000 people tuned in. The footage started innocently enough, a wide shot of the Atlanta lounge from security cameras. But then it zoomed in on a moment right before Sha'Carri's arrest. She was standing in a tight circle with Claressa and Remy Ma. The three women appeared to be in a heated discussion. Sha'Carri was gesturing sharply, Claressa had her arms crossed, and Remy was leaning forward, speaking with intensity. Seconds later, a man approached, believed to be one of the investors, and the shouting began. Security rushed in. The camera angle shifted. And within minutes, Sha'Carri was being escorted out. The stream ended with the host saying, "And that, folks, is why none of them are speaking. Because what was said in that moment could bring the whole house down." The comment section exploded with demands for the audio. If there really was a recording of that exchange, it could connect every single dot in this tangled mess. Pap's money issues, Claressa's leak, Sha'Carri's arrest, and Remy's mysterious confidence in the face of the investor threats. But before any more could be revealed, the host signed off with one final chilling line. "Check your feeds. Tomorrow at noon, the next leak isn't coming from me. It's coming from someone on the inside." And just like that, the entire hip-hop and sports world went to bed wondering one thing. When that leak drops, will it finally expose the truth? Or will it start a war nobody can stop? And there you have it from a casual Instagram. Live to the kind of multi-layered scandal that ties together hip-hop, boxing, and track and field in one giant tangled mess. What started as Claressa Shields dropping a little shade about Papoose's money situation has spiraled into leaked footage, whispered investor threats, Shakari Richardson's shocking booking, and now Remy Ma stepping right into the center of the storm. But here's the thing, the biggest leak hasn't even hit yet. That mysterious inside source has promised something for tomorrow at noon. And if the whispers are true, it's going to connect every single player in this saga in a way none of us saw coming. The stakes aren't just personal anymore. They're financial, reputational, and potentially career-ending. So, want to hear from you. Drop your theories in the comments right now. Is Remy protecting Pap or playing her own game? Was Claressa warning Pap or setting him up? And most importantly, what really happened in that VIP circle before Sha'Carri got booked? Hit that subscribe button, turn on all notifications, and make sure you're here when that inside leak drops, because I promise you it's not just going to answer our questions, it's going to raise a whole new set of ones. The board is set, the pieces are moving, and when that next move hits, somebody's entire empire might fall.